poem of violence. Here's Olay.
So I'm traveling tonight, and I was planning on sleeping in a state park, but it's starting to snow, and unfortunately some of it's mixed with rain, and I have to be up early tomorrow, and I have to function all day long at a fairly high capacity. So I am going to find a flea bag motel and sleep in there. Spent about, well, I stopped counting after 6 weeks outside this year. I think weather and other circumstances dictate it's okay for me to still earn my gold star and sleep in a flea bag motel. So I have a couple things to talk about today. One is the nanoSTRIKER, and this is basically a firesteel that I'll show you some details of. And the other is this match container. And basically I found out about these firesteels at the Blade show, and I interviewed the owner of the company and designer at Blade, and I think it's kind of a pretty slick little product, and I'll show you some of the features here. Tell me how you got started in the fire starter business.
Well, basically I'm an engineer, so I was an engineer by schooling. I started out as an engineer, electrical engineer, believe it or not, and saw that there's several fire starting products out there, but I didn't feel like anything was sufficient. I wanted something that I could have on my keychain, something really small that you could carry with you. I felt, what good is a fire starter if you don't have it on you? They make lots of big fire starters that are really not conducive to carrying every day. You go on a ski trip, you go on a rafting trip, not even if you're on the woods, it's most times when you're not expecting to be in a survival situation that you are in a survival situation. So that's why I designed this. It's tiny. When you combine the Striker with it, it's still tiny. You can hang it on your keychain and it's perfect. And so I said, hey, I'm going to try and design this. So I sat down on the drawing board and started playing with it over the course of just a couple of weeks, and I came with a concept I kind of liked. Then I decided that really the only way to test it was to just jump in head first and make a bunch of them. So I made a bunch of them and figured if I could sell a few in a year, I'd be happy. Well, it turns out people really like them, and so that's how it came to be. And this year we're slated to have a lot of new products. We're going to have a little bit larger one. We're also going to have a little bit larger match. Matter of fact, this is the first time we've shown it, but this is the prototype of actually pre-production of the new nanoSTRIKER. Visually, it doesn't look that much bigger, but what makes it a lot different is that it has a 1/4-inch rod. This rod, compared to the old 3/16-inch rod, is not only easier to use because of the larger diameter, but it's much stronger. It has micro threads, very small pitch threads in it, which keep it extremely strong and very, very durable and very reliable.
The first is that it comes ready to attach to a keychain, and I haven't attached it to mine because my keychain, one second, I haven't attached this to this for pretty obvious reasons. But I have carried this for a while, and I think it's a pretty good product. It weighs in at like ½ an ounce. There's the little striker deal. And this unscrews to reveal your fire rod, and then that screws back together, and you've got your striker, your fire rod, and it's pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory to use. You just blast it off like that, and it's a pretty lightweight option. I'll show you one that I carry quite a bit. I have taken to carry this because it's so lightweight. the other product that company makes is called a match cap, and I haven't used this a whole lot. And it's basically a watertight match container, you know, with a rubber seal, and it's got this little striker area here that you can strike your matches on. This will hold up to 20 kitchen matches. And I suppose if you were going to prison, this would have another use, like in keystering or something. But anyway, I personally don't use matches when I'm out and about, just because, well, a number of reasons. I'm in a lot of times in very, very awful, humid, horrible shitholes, and your matches will basically just crumble when you try to strike them. And you know, I've tried the whole thing with dipping them in paraffin and all of this. Well, you strike 1 or 2 matches on your striking surface, and it's going to be all gummed up. The other thing about matches that I'm not super fond of is that they're one-use items. Now, I can fit 20 matches in here, and fully loaded it weighs in at a little over an ounce, and I'll get 20 fires, maybe. Or I can carry this, which weighs half an ounce. Again, this is the Exotac nanoSTRIKER, and I can get, I don't know, countless, who knows how many strikes with out of this with spark and fire. And so, you know, I tend to carry a fire rod. This is a pretty good one. I've carried some other ones out into the jungle with me. I've carried this one different places. Honestly, most of the use that this one gets put to is in situations like this, and I'll show you exactly how I use this kind of day in and day out. I have to confess, I didn't even know about this the last time I went to the jungle or to any kind of a extreme environment, so I haven't tested it there. But it's very, very well made. I have a little alcohol stove here that I made. I can tell you about this. This is a metal surface, and I've got a video on how to make these. Basically, I'm going to light it, and it takes a little bit for these to prime, but that was one strike with the striker. That's what I like to see. I don't like to mess around. It's starting to go out the hole, so I'm going to drop this penny, this busted up old penny that I've used 100 times in this, over the top. I'm going to push it over the fire hole, and then put this over. This is basically a 24-ounce enameled cup with some fiberglass wick over it, and we got to bring 2 cups of water to a boil for our stroganoff.
From Mexican territory within.
That's one reason I like these little alcohol stoves, is it's really quick. Another thing is that's fiberglass wick that I've wrapped around there, and you can just go ahead and pick it up and it won't burn anything. We're going to dump the stuff into there. 2 cups of boiling water supposedly dumped into this, and you're good to go. And if there is such a thing as a survival condiment, this is it. Good bottle of hot sauce goes a long ways to making not so great food taste decent, and this is in my top 5 of things that I like for that. So I'm going to enjoy some noodles tonight, and I found a movie at the dollar bin at Walmart that I'm going to check out. It's either this or a monster truck rally, so I'm going to at least look at this.